Hi, and welcome to Teletalk. I'm Liv.
And I'm Ben.
And on this episode, you'll hear our carefully considered and not at all random thoughts on a show we like. There will be spoilers.
This podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and we're giving ourselves an age rating of 15 and above, but you're welcome to make up your own mind. Listener discretion is advised.
I thought you were going to share that better.
What?
Well, I thought we were going to take it in turns to do bits, and then you didn't do that.
You didn't communicate that to me.
I did telepathically.
Right. Sorry.
God.
I didn't pick up what you were mentally putting down.
Yeah. Rude.
Okay. What a wonderful concordant way to start the episode.
Welcome to Death in Paradise, season something, episode...
Season
something.
15, episode 6.
Okay.
Do you know what I love about you, Liv?
So
you are the
prepared.
one. You are the details person in this show. You're the one that really keeps us on track with all the finite information.
What information I do have is that this is a very different episode from what we're used to.
It is, and I wasn't looking forward to this, and I don't think
No,
you were
I
either.
wasn't.
But I think I was wrong.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Do you want
Right.
to read the episode?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Okay, the episode is described thusly.
Okay.
Mervin gets embroiled in a confounding case when he goes in search of his brother on Antigua. Full stop. And the team must uncover their detective's whereabouts before it's too late. They started a sentence with "and."
Is that why you put the full stop
Yes. Because it's like, why have the full stop? It's entirely
dear.
unnecessary. And I know that I haven't typed this wrong because I just copy and paste it off of the BBC iPlayer.
Well, maybe it's just a typo. Did you ever consider that, Ben?
They're the British Broadcasting Company. I expect them to be grammatically accurate.
Yeah, well, maybe they got the intern to do it.
Well, I take it all back. I hate this episode
Okay.
now. Do we want to talk about subplots or side quests?
I don't think there were any.
Well, I thought there were.
Go on.
So we explore Mervin's relationship with his brother.
That's part of the main plot.
And Sterling Fox exists again.
That's also part of the main plot.
Well, yeah, but it's still a side quest as well.
No. The side quest is that he asked Naomi out, having
Yeah.
got her name wrong like
Why-
3 times.
Is this going to be a recurring thing with men just hitting on Naomi? Oh, no,
No.
because it wasn't Naomi.
It was
last-
Matty.
Yeah. Is someone going to hit on Seb next week?
I hope so. That would be hilarious.
It might be a man.
It might be.
Yeah. Good. It could be. We'll keep an eye out for that.
But because of the jumbled up order in which we watched the episode, as in it's a totally different episode,
Yeah.
we are also jumbling up how we do
Yeah,
our
because
episode.
it's a non-traditional way. It's instead of this whole like locked room mystery malarkey, he's there. Mervin is sort of there live interrogating the two people who could have done it. Mm. Well, do you want to set us up with a premise? Because I'd love to see
what could have done what?
Yeah, set us up with how do we set up this episode, Liv?
Yes. Good question, Ben.
That's it. Keep stalling.
So, what happens is Mervin... Okay, so we go back a little bit from how we left the last episode.
Yes.
So we see him arrive on
I can see you
Antigua.
panicking.
And he buys a juice.
He's accosted by Captain Juicy on the shore.
Yes, so he buys a juice made with black pineapple, which I've never heard of
That sounds
before.
disgusting.
Apparently it's quite nice.
It just sounds like mouldy pineapple.
And then he goes looking for Solomon,
Hey, Sol, where you be at?
and he's chasing him around, asking people if they've seen him. He constantly just misses him. And,
It's like Oak Island all over again.
and so he kind of steals/borrows a moped.
I think it's called requisitioning.
Right. And, chases Solomon, but Solomon has no idea that his brother is behind him.
Which is impressive because he's only about 6 foot behind him.
Yeah, and then I don't know how all this happens in that time, but he follows him into this kind of log cabin thing.
Well, he follows him and he's turned off into the woods.
Yeah.
And then Mervin walks into the woods, stumbles upon a Captain Juicy juice drink, so he knows he's on the right track.
Well, he doesn't, because why is the juicy drink here?
Well, presumably
He doesn't
Sol.
know why.
Oh, yeah.
Ah. Anyway, then he goes into the cabin.
A creepy cabin in the woods. This could only go well.
Yeah, and he walks in, and then he finds a dead body on the floor.
He's been shot through the heart, and someone's to blame.
And then he gets knocked over the head with something.
After seeing a shiny rock on the table.
And then he wakes up, and you turns out to be
Sol.
Solomon.
So yeah, he was halfway through phoning Naomi, wasn't he, when he got clobbered in
That's
the head.
right.
So that's why she was then going, I think there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Because he plainly gets smacked around the head halfway through a conversation.
Yeah. So that's the premise. Dead body in cabin, knocked out.
By Sol.
I nearly said professor, but DI in the cabin.
He's been promoted.
Solomon in the cabin.
Yeah. So yeah, dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because the inference is Sol's the only one there. So did he kill a guy? His own flesh and blood?
And I can't remember at what point we see someone else skulking around, sort of hiding behind a door.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So Mervin is sort of interrogating Sol, like, why have you killed a guy?
But
it seems like it.
Mervin is tied to a chair for most of this episode.
Yes, so that's where it's a bit different, because he's there.
So he's trying to like maintain power in this conversation,
while being
but he's
tied
tied up. He has no power.
I really want to sing Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer, but whoa, victim tied to a chair. It doesn't work.
Is it because prayer rhymes
Prisoner
with
on a chair. Tie my hands and I'm sitting, I swear. Whoa, victim
Prisoner
on a
chair.
chair.
I thought you said prisoner
on a chair.
You can't.
It's hard thinking that I'm tired.
I was just ready to join in, and then
Oh,
you changed the
I'm
words.
really disappointed. I didn't mean to. My brain.
Anyway,
That could have been glorious.
it would have been.
I'm sad. Anyway, let's cheer myself up. But yeah, so so Mervin is like accusing Sol and sort of going, well, this doesn't make sense. There's 3 glasses of whiskey on the table. That's one for you, one for the victim, and one for someone else. So his maths.
Yeah. Oh, and he also knows that the victim is the juice guy.
Oh yes, there is Captain Juicy.
Yeah, because he went in before he got knocked out and saw who it was.
I love that we've got a central character called Captain Juicy.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh, and his shoes are on the wrong feet.
yes, he notices.
So we've got a fake uncut diamond.
Do we know it's fake?
He does, because he says it's shiny.
It's
And
too shiny.
Uncut diamonds are notoriously dull. But Solomon didn't know that. Anyway, so we've got fake uncut diamond on the table,
Yep.
3 whiskey glasses on the table, and the victim's shoes are on the wrong feet.
That's right. And he's really pushing at Sol to go, who was the third person? Sol doesn't want to tell him. And then eventually he sort of slips that there was someone else. And then the someone else walks in.
Yeah, but I think Sol tells his side of the story first.
Yeah, what was... Oh, he just found him dead? Was that the first story we get?
Yeah.
That's right. He was meant to come here for a deal.
Yeah.
And when he got here, the guy was dead.
Yeah, and he's like, that makes no sense because there are 3 glasses of whiskey.
And obviously it's not that.
So your story is false.
Because he's like, well, then why did you bash me upside the head? And that's when he presses him more, and he's about to say, I'm not going to tell you who the other person was. And then Cheech, or long-haired guy, rocks up.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, hello, boys.
He's also a con man, we find out later, so we could call him Con Man.
Okay. Yeah.
I
But
don't
then,
really know.
so Sol.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we could, long-haired man or Cheech or con man. We'll figure it out. Whatever comes naturally.
So he comes in and tells his version of events.
Yes, which is that the victim... So how was it?
They were all drinking together.
Yeah.
And then the victim went for Solomon, and Solomon shot him
In a struggle.
because D.I. Mervin works out pretty fast that the murder weapon was the victim's own gun because it's left-handed.
He's the only left-handed one, and it has a chamber that won't won't eject a shell into your face. Casing.
Something. It's a left-handed gun, right? Yeah. And he's the only left-handed person there. So they know that it was his own gun that killed him.
So he's like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you have the gun?
Yeah, and then D.I. Mervin says, well, Solomon can't have been the one to kill him because there's no blood spatter on him. If he shot him at that closer range like you're describing, there would be blood spatter all over Solomon.
And none of this is making sense. So yeah, it's...
And what about the shoes on the wrong feet?
What I like about this episode is that it feels like they're really building up Mervin's sort of like calmness under pressure, his astuteness, his observational skills.
It's almost a bit like Holmes. They're trying to show us his Holmes qualities.
But not in that kind of like, it's elementary, my dear. It's just like, no, that there's a hole in that story, so it's wrong. And he manages to exude authority while...
tied up.
You know.
Arms by sides.
Prisoner on a chair.
Tied in ropes.
Yeah. And he still manages to be authoritative.
Oh, yeah, and Mervin had asked Solomon, well, where's the gun now? Because he had seen it when he first went in. And Solomon goes, well, I've put it away for safekeeping. Cheech immediately finds it and has possession of the gun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Cheech is like, well, I'm off to make a phone call.
Yeah.
So you guys chill out, and I'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was menacing, even though he didn't have the gun at that point.
Yeah.
But obviously Mervin's tied to a chair and Sol is useless.
So then the two of them, Solomon and Mervin, have more of a chat.
Yes.
Meanwhile, back in Sainte Marie.
Well, sort of back in Sainte Marie, I guess. Yeah, because the commissioner and Naomi get the same boat over to Antigua.
The same boat.
The same boat as Mervin.
But later.
Yes.
They get a boat.
It's the same boat, Liv.
And the rest of the team, as in Matty and Seb, stay there, and then Catherine goes over to help them.
To lend a hand.
By making phone calls.
Yeah, to be fair. Well, mostly trying to constantly call Mervin.
She's pretty useful, though, to be fair.
Yeah, and it's nice to get Catherine more involved in an episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was good. And so, yeah, you've got the Commissioner and Naomi teaming up, and when they engage with the local Antiguan police, we get a familiar face involved.
A blast from the past.
Yeah.
/ last episode. I mean, last series.
Yeah. Sterling Fox is back. And I thought, oh, God, not this guy. But actually, he was really fun.
He was fun.
I thought he really added to the point where I'm like, I kind of hope that he's in it a bit more.
That kind of attitude, but not on someone in charge, is fun.
Yes, because he was sort of like a cheerful disruption.
Yeah.
Because so Sterling Fox is the officer in like that they're assigned as their liaison in Antigua, and he's just constantly, it seems like, deliberately sabotaging the thing.
Because if people don't remember, he was trying to get the commissioner's job last season, and he was an awful character.
And they put him in jail.
Yeah, and here he is now as almost the comic relief of the episode.
Yeah, because he's been busted down to trainee officer.
Yeah, because they think the commissioners in charge of the commissioner think that this will help round out his skill set.
Now, this might be slightly homoerotic, but I thought he looked pretty good in that uniform. Like, he looked like, in a way, like I saw him in a completely different light, because when we saw him before in his suits and looking all like he just looked a bit. He looked ripped in that outfit. I was like, whoa, he's a...
You think he might have spent a year working out, or you think it's just your perception has changed?
No, I think it's just that the uniform suits him better.
Wow, you're like a man in uniform, huh?
Apparently so. Apparently so. I'm learning this about myself. But I was just like, wow, he cuts a very different figure.
Wow.
So yeah, that was my takeaway.
Great. I'm thrilled.
I don't know. He just seemed like he was more business.
Okay.
Despite not being in a suit. Weird. But yeah, it was fun. Like, it initially seemed like he was deliberately sabotaging things, but it seems like it wasn't. He was actually doing what he was told from up high.
Yeah, and also just not being that good. Like, he tries to book them a table to go for lunch right in the middle of trying to find the DI.
I did like how he was like, oh, I know where that place is, let's go. So fun. So yeah, we have the concurrent investigations. You've got Mervin, who already knows that the victim is dead.
Yeah.
And is trying to figure out which of the two killed him. And then you've got Selwyn and Naomi trying to...
They're just working on a kidnapping.
Yes.
At this point. And
they're slowly identifying these these people involved, and they're trying to find out where they, like, how the DI was involved and all of that. It's quite fascinating to see the two concurrent investigations. And I kept forgetting that Selwyn and Naomi didn't know that the victim was dead.
They didn't even know he was there, though.
No.
So...
It's all very confusing.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to sort of identify, and they're slowly plotting. So their initial thing is trying to track Sol, Mervin's brother, by his financial transactions. They track him to a bar in the harbour, don't they?
That's right. And he was seen having a conversation.
Playing dominoes.
With...
Captain Juicy.
Yeah, and his wife. So the victim and his wife.
And Cheech.
And the long-haired guy, Cheech. Yeah. So then that connects all four of them.
Yes. And I think through that, do they identify...
Solomon was having an affair with the victim's wife.
That's right. I don't know how they worked that out.
Weren't they seen? Or was that Mervin that worked that out?
No, Cheech and Sol admit that to him, because it eventually comes out that Cheech and Sol were working together to con the victim.
Yeah.
And Cheech was like, yeah, and the problem is that Sol didn't know the
involved.
First rule is don't get involved, and he's stupid and he got involved. So he was having an affair with the victim's wife.
Yes.
So I can't remember quite how they were, how Selwyn and Naomi work that out.
Well, they become aware of the victim because they were seen together in that hotel bar, and so they go to the victim's house
and let themselves in.
And he's not there. No one's there, and so they let themselves in, and then they search the whole place, and they find in a safe a USB stick, which somehow remotely they managed to send over to Saint-Marie for the team to unpick.
By science
or by telepathy.
Also, as part of that, they recognised, because at the same time they've the team in Saint-Marie have been doing some digging, and Seb looks at the finer details and weighs a pineapple.
That's right.
And identifies that the shipments of pineapples that the victim was sending out regularly at incredibly cheap prices were much heavier than they should be.
Yeah.
And they Selwyn and Naomi remark that he's got an incredibly lavish house for a relatively small time.
And then this is where Catherine's input comes in.
Yeah.
Because she phones a friend. So wait, no, was this Naomi or Matty? I'm getting confused.
Matty phones someone in Jamaica
who works in customs
and they say, oh yeah, they busted some cocaine
from a Captain Juicy box,
but it went nowhere. Yeah. And the sense was that there was someone in Antigua higher up that was
shutting it down.
Yeah, which we never actually find out who that might have been.
That's not followed up on, but it's otherwise a plot hole, isn't it?
Yeah, I just wonder if that might play in down the line. Someone higher up. I don't know, or it would just be forgotten about entirely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they then identify that there was some drug dealing going on with the victim.
Yeah.
But I love that they found the safe behind a wonky painting of a really fat dog.
No.
But no, it was meant to be really... I don't know, it just seemed like a really weird out-of-place
I thought
picture.
it was a well-proportioned dog.
Okay.
With Mac's collar.
Yes, and that's how Selwyn is like, try doing the numeric number of the alphabetical letters, MAX, and it works.
Yeah.
Selwyn's showing his detectoring chops.
Yeah. Oh, and then the wife comes home and says, get out of my house or I'll phone the police. They say, we are the police.
Can't you tell by our uniforms?
And then they're not wearing uniforms. And then they have a conversation, and that's when they discover that Solomon has been having an affair with her.
And that the victim, she says the victim, her husband, was getting suspicious.
She doesn't know he's a victim.
No, but I'm just saying, so her husband, who is the victim,
right,
was suspecting that there was an affair going on, and he beat her.
That's right. That's what she claims, yeah.
And that when Sol found out, he was really angry.
Yeah.
And so there gives motive to Sol again. So there's that back and forth of who has motive. Because we also, somewhere in there, we find out that Cheech, the long-haired gangstery type fella, has a checkered past and was acquitted of murder in 1991 in the UK. So he's a bit of a rough customer.
Yeah.
Liable to do the murdering.
Yeah, so everyone's got a motive.
Yeah, it sort of swings back and forth. The idea, I think, is that you swing back and forth between, I think Cheech did it, I think Sol did it.
Well, also, you get different information from different teams, so you progress the story a little bit, but it's kind of a jagged approach.
And I think it's around this time that Cheech comes back into the shack with the gun. And then we have a bit of a to-do, because he basically bustles Sol out, doesn't he? And that's when Mervin does the classic rub his bonds against the wall and cuts himself free.
Yeah, it's like an upturned bed.
Yeah. Very sharp one, it would seem.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, right, they only just stepped outside to have a conversation. You do not have time to cut through 3 ropes.
Well, I mean,
very slowly.
The evidence suggests that he did.
I thought that was ridiculous.
That's the ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
Okay. At no point does Mervin complain about having a sore head from being knocked unconscious. That's definitely concussion. I'd like to point out no one seems to give a shiny shit about that.
I mean, his brain is still working, so that's quite good.
Yes.
He's noticed all
Wouldn't it be
sorts of
amazing if it
things.
turns out this was all just an hallucination of his concussed brain? I mean, that wouldn't be great. It would be really quite underwhelming. But yeah, so he gets himself free, climbs out of a window, and is immediately caught by Cheech.
He climbs out the window?
Yeah, he puts a bench up and climbs out the window after snagging a camera. A little
That's
GoPro
right.
camera
He
on the
noticed
bookshelf.
a camera that had been pointed at the whole room, including the back room where the body is.
He was like, that seems like it would be handy. I'll take that.
Yeah, and he starts watching it, and it looks like it's showing Solomon doing the murdering.
Because he's stood with at gunpoint. Cheech is holding them both up, and he goes, well, it's on here, and he looks at it, and it shows...
Well, hang on, you say both of them. So Cheech catches the DI
Yeah.
coming out the window, and then Solomon tries to get the gun off him to protect his brother.
That's true. I
and
concede.
then the gun is pointed at both of them.
Yes, and it's then that Mervin goes, well, I'm going to watch the video. What's the worst that can happen? And it seems to show the victim lunging at Sol and Sol grabbing the gun and shooting him.
Exactly
And it's
as
like-
Cheech, the long-haired guy, had said.
And I'm like, why is he holding him at gunpoint then? Like, surely...
yeah, what's going on?
Yeah. And Sol is like, but it was self-defense. I didn't mean to. He came at me. You saw it. So it does seem like Sol has done the murdering. So yeah, that's where we're at. Do you want to tell us what actually happened?
Well, I can't remember exactly, but Mervin seems to know before he looks at the video what happened. And he says, and this is what I said as well, that the victim and Cheech, the long-haired guy, were working together to con Solomon, rather than Solomon and long-haired guy working together to con the victim.
A double con.
A double con.
So, okay.
Because, you know, Solomon's coming into inheritance of a house and some money and some stuff. So they could get that money off of him.
That was not why they did it.
Okay. I don't know why they did it.
Okay, so would you like me to have a crack at summing it up then?
Go on then.
So they were... So basically, Cheech had been hired by the victim, by Lester, to fake his death so that he could get out of the drug dealing game because he got a bit in over his head. And so Sol was a useful idiot who was going to be framed for the murder. Mm-hmm. So that's why Cheech was recording the whole thing with the camera. So they pre-set up all of this. The wife of the victim was in on it.
Yes.
So was having a honeypot thing with Sol, so that they could have a prop gun, and that Lester, the victim...
It was a real gun with a blank.
Okay, well, technicalities at this point.
But that gave Solomon a motive
Yes.
because of the jealous, raging husband.
Yeah.
And so then the husband lurched and lunged for Solomon.
Yes. And that's how Mervin knew that it was fake, because he was like, there was a gun right there. Why would he then take ages to really telegraph hitting you with a rock when there was a gun right there?
Yeah.
And
the gun was there so that Solomon would pick it up and shoot him.
And the victim, or Lester, had a blood pack in his shirt, hence why there was no blood splatter.
Yeah.
So he then lies down, and Cheech says, oh God, you've shot him, but don't worry, I'll sort it out. You run.
Yeah.
So Sol runs off, but that's when Mervin arrives.
No. Yes.
Yeah, because then Lester was getting up, changing into some better shoes,
So he could go down the
climb
cliffs and escape.
on the waiting boat. But then that's when Mervin arrived, startled them a bit. So he then chucks the shoes back on urgently, but on the wrong feet, and lies down. He's not actually dead any of this time.
Yeah.
He's just pretending to be dead. And then Sol also comes back after Cheech has bashed Mervin on the head, And they have a bit of an argument, and Cheech says, look, if you can persuade your brother to leave, then it's fine. You guys just go. But Mervin wouldn't leave, and thus we have this situation.
To be fair, he couldn't leave on account of he was tied up.
Well, that's true, but if he'd have said, yeah, it's fine, we'll just leave, he would have let them leave, allegedly. While Mervin's got the gun pointed at him, and Cheech seems like he's about to shoot him, Matty and Seb arrive in a helicopter.
It's very dramatic.
Yeah, it is pretty dramatic, and then they chase him off and catch him. Cheech, that is, because he legs it, rather than just shooting at the helicopter like all sensible people would, obviously.
Would you?
No. That's only in action films. But then Mervin, when Naomi and Selwyn arrive, whispers to Naomi and she heads off in an unknown task while he's summing up, and then she catches Lester when he's trying to get up and leg it while this is all happening.
The alleged victim.
So there's actually not been a murder.
There is no murder. There is a frame for murder. And the reason why Cheech, long-haired guy, wanted that video camera is because it clearly shows that it was a fake death and the victim gets up and can walk around. And
so he was going to escape to another island, and then his wife and his 2 sons were going to join them later, and he'd live a whole new life on all of the proceeds of his crime. And Cheech was just basically a hired hand to get this all sorted.
Yeah, so he didn't really have any investment in the whole thing other than financial payment for his role.
Yeah.
And finding a patsy.
And we find that the person that because Cheech, for a lot of the preliminary side of things, was outside with the gun on the phone to someone, and it was actually Lester's wife that he was on the phone to, which I thought was quite interesting, because I did wonder who that... I was assuming it was going to be the person high up in the police that seemed to be putting all of this, like, covering up.
Well, he was like, I'll let you know how it goes, I'll let you know how it goes.
When it's done.
Yeah.
When I've dealt with it.
But it all gets foiled. Everyone is arrested, including Solomon.
Yeah. And initially, I was like, why is Mervin so pissed off with his brother? I thought they'd have, like, this moment of, like, bonding or anything. But Mervin's really hacked off and a bit mean. I'm like, actually, to be fair, like, that does seem reasonable.
He's just been kidnapped.
Yeah, and tied to a chair.
And lied to.
Yeah, and concussed.
Yeah.
Not that anyone mentions it.
And then had a gun pointed at his head for a while.
Does he even go to be medically checked out? No, he does not.
Maybe that's off camera.
He just wants to go home.
Yeah, he does.
Home. Because we learn a bit more about Mervin's backstory as well amidst all of this, because his heart-to-heart talk with
Well, not
Sol.
really.
Well, a bit.
No, he just tells Solomon what we already knew.
Ah, well, I suppose. But they bond.
They bond.
We learn a bit more about Sol's backstory.
Yes.
And all of that, and how he'd always had a bit of the greed in him, and that put a wedge between him and his mum. Yeah.
Something about a spider. It was like a folk story.
Yeah, it was like a story about this spider that that just was brought down by his own greed.
Yeah. Was it like the story of the scorpion and the duck?
I do not know the scorpion and the duck
no,
story.
No, it might be a frog. You know, where there's a scorpion and it wants to cross the river. And it says, hey, frog.
Can I ride on your back?
Yeah. And you go, no, because you'll sting me. I promise I won't. Okay, you can ride on my back. And then he stings and they both drown.
And it's like, why did you do it? And he goes, I'm a scorpion. It's what I do.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It reminded me of this story.
Sort of, I guess.
The spider story.
Sort of, I guess. Yeah. I think I see where you're going with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a really different episode, and I enjoyed it.
It was refreshing.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like it would be a series finale kind of episode, but it wasn't.
I do wonder. There's a few predictions that I have. I wonder if we're then going to see in the sort of like side story thing, you know, all of this stuff about Mervin being unhappy that Solomon was selling off his mum's house and all that. I wonder if somehow it's going to end up being that now he's in charge of all of that, and it's going to be a bit more of a pain in the arse than he was expecting. Like now he's got to deal with all his mum's stuff. Or maybe he gets her house and he decides to make a home of it in her house.
Why would he get a house? I wondered if Solomon would give it to him.
That's why I said like somehow.
But then he might need that for his legal stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, I do wonder if we might have something to do with like this as yet unnamed higher up in the Antiguan police that's corrupt or something.
I think you're thinking too much about
You think
that.
it's all just going to be never mentioned again?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, but then
because I think that was a narrative point of the only way they'd know it was cocaine is if they'd found some before.
Right.
And how would it not have been brought down? Well, someone corrupt higher up prevented it.
Okay, fair enough.
That's my gut. It's just it was narrative convenience.
So do you reckon then the last two episodes of the season are just going to be normal episodes then? Okay.
I do.
Oh, okay.
But I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, what did you rate this episode?
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
A 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was something a bit different. I don't think I'd want it to be like that all the
No.
time. I do like the Death in Paradise
Formula.
premise and formula. Yeah, good word. But it was a bit of a cucumber to the eyes.
A bit of a cucumber to the...
Palate cleanser is the word I was thinking of.
It was a cucumber, because to be fair, when you say a cucumber to the eyes, that makes it sound a bit more violent.
I was
than
thinking
I
of
think
a
you were.
spa, you know.
Yeah, a slice of cucumber. As always, a big cucumber. I really enjoyed this. It was a real cucumber to the eyes. Do you know what? I think that might have to be a new saying that I'm going to just pick up. Oh, yeah, I love that so much. It's such a cucumber to the eyes with the little stabby hand gesture.
Yeah, that's not what I had as an image in my mind.
I was about to say I'll give you a good cucumbering, but that sounds really bad. It's like scissoring with lead Niven. It's that all over again. But okay, so yeah, it was different, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but
it
a
was.
welcome break.
What did you rate it?
I rated it 7 undiagnosed concussions out of 7.
7 out of 7.
I love this. Like you said, I wouldn't want it to be this every week, but I thought as a change of pace, because we had been starting to grumble, like every episode felt very similar. Like this is a locked room mystery.
Well,
this is a locked room mystery.
I moaned
This one
about
had
it
a dead
more last
pensioner.
season.
This one had a dead pensioner.
Yeah.
This one was really different. I thought it did a really good job of really sort of setting up Mervin's chops as a sort of authoritative investigator. It showed his experience and his competence. It sort of brought all of the team together and everyone got to have a little bit of a showcase.
Yeah, that's true.
It brought in Sterling Fox, and I was initially thinking he was going to be a pain in the
It
arse.
awakened something in you that you didn't know was there.
Yeah, it stirred me loins in a way I didn't know, apparently. But no, his character, when I initially was like, oh no, not this guy again, but actually he was much better than when he was first on the show. I enjoyed that a lot. And I came into it going, like we both... At the end of last episode, when we saw this preview, we were like, oh,
Not
no.
a kidnapping.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
But I thought this was really good. And when you consider if you'd have been like, well, actually, it is Sol, that he seemed to be like, right, yeah, okay, good. I thought this was really good.
Yeah.
I didn't see the whole thing coming with what the solution was and everything.
I did.
Of course you did. I thought it was brilliant. I want them to go back to largely their normal format.
Yeah.
You know, when they inexplicably, they've got 3 suspects and they inexplicably discount everyone else in the world and all of this stuff. And I want them to have a random thing where he goes, "Waha, I know what this is because of that crisp packet," or whatever. I want all of that again. But this was a great cucumber to the eye moment, and I feel ready to face the rest of them again. And I loved it.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, if I watched it again in isolation, I might not love it as much, but this was the right episode at the right time in the right context.
Well, you can't get better than that.
You
can
cannot. And on that note, that's all, folks.
Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.
Yeah, if you get a chance, please do rate or review us on your platform of choice. If you're able to write a review, amazing. If not, that's fine. Thank you for being with us and lending us your ears. And I wish you all a wonderful cucumber to the eye moment.
Bye.
Toodles!